sustainable projects. For the record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury, and JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And the Cayman Islands National Museum. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Step back in time and discover the rich history of the Cayman Islands at the National Museum. Located on the waterfront in Georgetown, the National Museum is proudly housed in the Old Courts Building, Cayman's oldest standing public building. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And here's the best part, Saturdays are free for residents. Don't forget to visit our museum gift shop. Every purchase helps preserve our artifacts and the historic building we call home. Visit www.museum.ky for more information.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Hey Cayman parents, we get it. You're underslept, over-trafficked, you can barely find your sanity in the morning because you're still trying to find your kids' shoes and lunch boxes. Let Yum take some of the stress away. Every day, over 3,000 students enjoy delicious, nutritious meals from Yum. Over 5 million lunches served and counting. Private school parents? Browse the Yum Cayman app and order up to a month in advance or last minute by 12 a.m. the night before. Government school students? Just drop by the Yum canteen. No pre-orders needed. Yum can't help you find your sanity, but we can sure make your mornings just a bit easier. Check out daily menus at myschoolpos.com or visit yumcayman.ky to learn more.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our Custom Closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
The following is a paid political broadcast. The views, information, or opinions expressed in this forum are solely those of the participants of this event and do not represent the views of the management and staff of Radio Cayman.
We ask our listeners and viewers to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Live from Radio Cayman Studio.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
With Orrett Connor.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is For the Record.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and the verdant trees so fair. Today is April 2nd, 2025, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We hope and trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on our roads, please ensure that you exercise caution. Observe the rules of the road. Remember, the life you save may be your own. This segment on For the Record is a paid political segment, and it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning none other than Mr. Lonny Tibbetts, who is seeking to represent the constituency of Cayman, Brac, West, and Little Cayman in our parliament, and he is contesting that seat in our upcoming April 30th general elections. Mr. Tibbetts, it's been a week since you were here on the show. I'm sure that many things have transpired since that period of time, so I'm going to say good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Great to have you.
I just want to begin today by clarifying something. As you can appreciate, last week that I was here, it was a long day for me. Mm-hmm. I came in the morning here, and you kind of reminded me of the traffic rules that I need to follow to get here earlier. So, it was a long day. And at the end of the day, I had the Chamber of Commerce debate with my opponent from Cayman, Brac, West, and Little Cayman. And in my closing remarks, at that point, I think I was all out of joules of energy. Then I misspoke, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to begin the show, because I also, and subsequently to that, there was a caller I think that called in later. I think it was on Friday, and called in and made a comment about my closing remarks.
Yes,
and I can appreciate that as it's presented, it can lead to some type of confusion, but I just want to take opportunity today, if you allow me to just clarify. Yes. What I meant to say was, all our lives we have been taught that when you see an X next to anything, it's the incorrect answer. But on April 30th, if you put your X next to my name on the ballot, it will be the right choice. Mm-hmm. I'd also like to acknowledge that the gentleman who presented himself as a seafarer, and I certainly appreciate that he brought this forward to me and publicly aired it, and I thank him for his support, and also recognizing, as he said, that we all make errors. I've subsequently learned that this gentleman is the granduncle of my opponent, so again I appreciate him bringing it forward and pointing it out. He knows as a seafarer the efforts that I made when I was at Seneca to help many of them. As some of you may know, as a seafarer, on the current plan, when you presented overseas in a referral, there's usually a 10% copay of the cost. And I worked very hard with the Heart Health Center out of St. Luke's, and I can't remember the exact other facilities that we work to waive that 10%, because many times the members would present there, they didn't have the 10%, and they would subsequently apply for government assistance to pay that 10%. So I've worked very hard, very diligently to assist the seafarers, and very proud of the work that I did to help them.
So in no way did you intend to denigrate the voters of Cayman, Brac, and Little Cayman?
Oh, see, my father's a seafarer. My mother is a Braca. My cousins, family, everyone, and myself. I've been living there for almost 3 years now. And I've bought a home in the last 2.5 years. I bought a home there. And my mom's, our childhood home burnt down in Spot Bay in September 3 years ago now, come September, and I subsequently bought a home on the bluff. My mom now stays with me, and she has started the rebuilding of her home on the bluff further spot bay from me. And I secretly don't want that to finish because I can't replace her in the kitchen. So, but I'm very proud of my mother. She's strong, she's ambitious, she's an amazing woman, and she has a greenery second to none. And her hand, I've always said she could plant a Coke bottle and it would sprout. So, but that's the Brac. I'm very proud to say that I've been, going through the communities and meeting different people. And if I haven't reached you yet, I'm coming. It's a couple days left between now and the end of this month for our general election. And I rest assured, if I don't see you, you will know that I've came to your home in the Brac, because I'm going to everyone's home to meet them. And I want to talk to my my constituents, the people that I hope to represent. There's a plethora of issues, and we need to kind of work this out. I need to know what they are to help you. I can recognize, as you can see here, many of the other candidates from other districts, pretty much all of us are saying the same things: cost of living, etc. Obviously, in Cayman, the transportation, the traffic issues are significant. We will always have immigration issues in this country, and education also. There's always a lot of these things will forever be on the menu of politics. Mm-hmm. But I can assure you, who I am and what I'm about isn't about identifying the low-hanging fruit. It's about finding solutions for those. And I just want to make sure that anyone that's out there, that's in my constituent, that haven't seen or haven't had a chance to speak to me yet, please get a hold of me. I also would like to, it's not mine that's ringing, is it?
No.
Sorry, my apologies. Mm-hmm. I raised an issue last week when I was here. I think you and I, we both were kind of concerned when we heard the reality of that answer.
Yes.
But what we've discovered is that there are a significant number of Cayman Brac and Little Cayman residents that reside in Grand Cayman or work in Grand Cayman for whatever reason. It may be training, it may be school, it may be temporary, it may be permanently, but still choose to vote in the sister islands. And when we inquired about the possibility of them providing a mobile ballot option to them, we understood that wasn't available. It wasn't something that was compelled by law or a requirement for the elections office. So to those that are out there listening to me, my number is 926-1229.
You may want to repeat that again.
926-1229. And the reason I'm giving everyone this number, and obviously if you have anything else you want to call or text or message me, it's out there, so please do. And I'm proud to say I've had that number for 22 years. So I haven't ran from anybody yet, and I ain't about to start. But I want the listening public to make sure, if you can, share with any other Brackers that are here, or Little Cayman or Sister Island voters. What we're trying to do now is to work with the Cayman Airways to either obtain a special flight, maybe a reduced fee flight, or possibly at best a complimentary flight. Once you contact me, and I'll get you on the list, and we'll start working from there. Obviously, they need to know numbers and counts, but the plan, I think, is to take you up in the morning on election day and return you back to Grand Cayman in the afternoon.
And those persons seeking to do that would have to prove that they are registered in Cayman Brac or Little Cayman.
Correct. Obviously, if you can call me, give me your name, confirm where you're registered, we'll validate you on the voters list, and then certainly communicate back to you. I'll probably form a WhatsApp group or an email group and get back to any persons that's interested in doing this. We'd certainly like to get the count as quick as possible. So again, my number is 926-1229. Text, WhatsApp, or give me a call. and identify yourself and let me know how we can all work together to give what I consider our Brackers the opportunity to exercise their democratic right.
Because at the end of the day, and while the supervisor of elections would unable to accommodate you because of the legislation, at the end of the whole idea behind the legislation is to expand the franchise to people, to allow them to be able to exercise their democratic rights and not to put any barriers in their way, but to remove those barriers that are there, maybe the unintended consequences of the law or whatever, but to remove those so that everyone who wants to exercise the franchise will be able to do so. Now, also, when you were here on the last show, there were several other things that you mentioned in relation to the Brac, and off air you were telling me about some of those. You want to convey that to our audience as well?
Well, pleased to say that I started beating a large drum regarding the condition of the crane at the Port Authority building on Cayman Brac, and I explained. I think I did a pretty good job explaining that its lifting capacity has been one of its both its age, etc. All of these are factors in regarding that we've long overdue a replacement crane. But what I wanted to explain to everyone, with cost of living being an issue in Cayman Brac, as we know, a bread or eggs or something to whatever, just basic consumables is 10, 20, 30% more than Grand Cayman. And the things that contribute to that in talking to retailers is because everyone knows in the retail business, you buy in bulk, you get a better discount. So the retailers in the Brac struggle to get a kind of a bulk order, and when they do, it's a weight factor now, because what could ordinarily be shipped in one container with a large capacity, 70,000 to 80,000, has to now be split in two containers. So that's now double the shipping cost from Florida, even if it's coming from Grand Cayman or any other source destination for food goods. And what the single restriction on that was the crane's capacity to lift. Now with a proper crane, you can put more bulk into a container, pay for one container, and that now cuts our cost landed. And
so what have you discovered in relation to
we've
that?
discovered that the frequency of the drum has hit home, and I'm pleased to say that the board of directors of the Port Authority actually visited the Brac last week, and they've now purportedly confirmed that there will be a new crane arriving to Cayman Brac by the end of this year. Okay. Now, I'm not certain if it's a brand new crane or one that they're giving us from Grand Cayman, which is the usual treatment. But hopefully, we hope that it's a new crane that can give us 20 or 30 years of proper service and give us that opportunity to basically compete on load factors with what we plan to do there. So I'm very pleased to say that my message got home, and they've reacted, and there's things happening now that it's moving along very quickly. So I'm very pleased to say that we're going to hopefully get a better crane or a new crane very soon.
Excellent. Mike is yours. Anything else that you want to talk about? Your meetings, coming up. Some of the things that you have discovered during your canvassing.
Yeah. Fortunately, obviously, local issues in the Brac, albeit that they're there within that, they're not an isolated issue. As you know, I was a director of labor before, and many of the issues that came through the door are still there. One of the things that was there was the Labor Department at one time had the database on overseas scholarships.
Okay.
The reason why it was a key component to the Department of Labor is because there was supposed to be an effort to synchronize work permits issued with Caymanians that are overseas studying. The idea behind this was, if we had 10 students overseas that were studying business administration, we had 10, 20 work permits on this island with business administration-based services. We start working both with linking the employer with that and notifying them that we got 10 students coming home and 5 this year, 2 next year, etc. over a span. So we now present them probably before to the employer before that work permit is renewed or they examine that opportunity. Unfortunately, that did not happen. For whatever reason, I don't know how to describe it, but it's kind of like you had 2 boxes of Legos and no one put the 2 of them together, And I think that's some of the issues that we have in this country.
Well, if I could say, you were fortunate in labor to at least have that list, because there are there are statutory authorities who would love to have that list and not have it, and to have that interconnectivity between scholarships and as well, that is missing.
Again, OC, this is low-hanging fruit. There should, if given the opportunity to represent the people of Cayman, Brac, West, and Little Cayman, one of the first things I would motion in the House was a proper labor study. This is something I called for in 2008 when I was at the Labor Department. But ironically, this labor study will be on the academic value and assets of our citizens. How many of our people have degrees? How many have high school GEDs? How many have associates? How many have bachelors? How many have certificate programs, and in what? How many have vocational training? How many have what specialization in vocational training? We also need to look at PhDs, doctorate, everything. What's unfortunate, and I think you're well aware of it, but it was kind of an indirect issue. If we go to the immigration department today, I can find out the amount of doctors that are here on work permits, the amount with a PhD, the amount with a bachelor's, the amount with a second, third, what. I don't know anything about our people.
Caymanians, yeah.
Why are we spending millions to maintain databases within an immigration system, and we haven't spent $1 on saying we need to get representation and a full census on our people? So that now gives us planning opportunities. We can now see that there's 20 jobs here. There's 2 Caymanians that have that specialization skills. These are the things that we need to attract young Caymanians coming out of high school or even college to pursue secondary, tertiary, and doctorates, etc. We need to match the labor market with our scholarship program. The last statistics I saw, we had 569 teachers, I believe, in the education department that are all on work permits. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The death of our nation is going to be hypocrisy and cowardice. And for every Caymanian that's out there listening, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman, I'm going to say this to you sincerely. The divisiveness has to stop. We have got to work together. Irrespective if your neighbor's wearing blue and you're wearing red, we are still Caymanians. And if we don't work together and stop the mind of bickering and separating and parting, and what's going to happen is the people that are going to hold our flag one day are people that were not natives. And if this ship that we are on today springs a leak and we can't fix it and it sinks, I hope not to offend any expat with citizenship here, but you have a plan B. You can return to a place called home. This is our home. We ain't going anywhere. My plan A is A1, A2, A3, all Cayman Islands. It ain't no B for another country, another nation. And I think somewhere along the line we all need to recognize that. I think we've been fighting amongst each other so much that what we should be looking after is walking past the back of us while we're standing on the front gate arguing with each other. I think we need to really look at what permits are here, what's happening. I'll tell you another issue, right, to show you how it is all completely, correlated with one another. Expats can come here today, take out a 3-month permit, it doesn't work out, and leave and go and get another 3-month permit the next day without leaving. Now, I think during your tenure, remember, you had to leave the island and all of that. Now, just transition over. And people you have to understand that there's times when laws were written, policies, regulations were passed because they were reflective of that time. But things have changed. Now, one of the things I would propose in managing labor in this country is classification codes. I don't need to invent these. They're there already.
Yes.
So you come to this country in a classification code. It gives you a parameter of jobs that you can fill within that. And within that, if you transition from 3 months to 6 months to a year and you transition to another job in that same parameter, then it's obvious to work through the normal process, no Caymanians available, etc. But if you jump tier and you want to go from category A to B to C, that's a year. Call me back in a year. You leave and you reapply for a permit or a job within a year, and this gives employers an opportunity now. We have to recognize that we have an economic phenomenon. We have overemployment. But if we don't manage it, what's lurking behind is 40 or 50 or 60,000 people that one day will be able to legally demand to be a Caymanian. That now puts us at an end. And I think we need to nip that in the bud early. If given the vote, I would say we need to suspend status for a while. Our country needs to stabilize. In the time that workers are here in excess of natives, we need to slow down. We need to get that 51% back.
Now, on the issue of mobile voting for the sister islands, one of the reasons that many Brackers are in Grand Cayman is because of the employment situation. We have about 3 minutes left, but very quickly, what do you envisage in terms of improving employment prospects for Brackers?
Well, I think we need, for lack of a better word, we need a shadow government. If Grand Cayman has offices of this, we need similar offices of that in the Brac. The same services are being offered there. I'd like to see a Radio Cayman up there as well.
Miss Susan getting ready for that.
So these are the things that I'd like to see. That's what creates the jobs there. And we're stuck in this. It sounds like a cheap cliche, but I'm convinced, and I know this, if you build it, people will come. And, I say jokingly, but Brackers are the first expats to reach Grand Cayman. We just didn't need a permit. So those are the things, and it continues. So you can see the community, the businesses here. They're Brackers that started them and grew them, the Cocornels, the Fosters.
The Grants even.
Yes. So, we have quite a bit here that make representations in Grand Cayman that are native Cayman Brackers. And not to mention the number of Brackers that are in the civil service. And so we want to see that we can grow opportunities there. We'd like to see I personally would like to see the Zeus project go through. But I'd certainly want to meet with those developers and very simply say, I need a list of all jobs you're going to create. I want the qualifications. I want the job description. And now, but before you put the first block down, I want to start communicating with my community saying, look, they're going to come asking for these permits. Let's get our people trained to fill these jobs first.
Okay. I want to give you a last word to your voters out there in Cayman Brac, West and Little Cayman.
Yes, I'd like to say I thank you all for listening, and I look forward to meeting a number of my constituents over the next couple of days. I'd also like to acknowledge that the PPM party is traveling to the Brac. They're having a meeting on Friday night. Yes, on Friday night. Sorry, I keep forgetting we're on TV as well. And I'd like all my constituents to join me at the Cocornels Market. I think the PPM has a special event in store for the Honourable Moses Cocornel. And our Honourable Premier, Miss Juliana Conley, will be there as well. And for all of my constituents, both in all, unfortunately we got the two halves of two small islands, but both Cayman Brac, East, West, and Little Cayman. I certainly hope that you all can join us there and hear what the PPM plans for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Mr. Tibbetts, again, we wish you all the best and looking forward to having more of these conversations right here on Radio Cayman with you as well. Folks, we're going to go to our 8 o'clock news. When we return, we will have representatives from the PPM People's Progressive Movement will be in the studio with us after our 8 o'clock news, so don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. Talk to the For the Record. We'll be back shortly.
The preceding was a paid political broadcast.
Feast without the fuss.
Make Foster's part of your tradition this year with our full holiday feast.
For $94.99, you can feed up to 8 with a full meal. Order online, pick up in store.
Choose your main from our 12-hour smoked pork, oven-roasted turkey, or maple-glazed ham.
Or indulge your guests with our extra special herb-roasted leg of lamb feast or a 7-pound fried snapper for $119.99.
Order your full Easter feast online today at fosters.ky.
Foster's, better because we care.
Studio time now by Foster's is a minute after 8.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
I'm April Cummings with your latest news. The case of a lawsuit from the family of an 8-year-old who faced strict COVID-19 policy was before Justice Jalil Asif. In a Grand Court civil hearing Monday, lawyer Rupert Wheeler strongly criticized Cayman's COVID-19 policy, arguing it lacked scientific grounding and infringed on human rights. Representing the family of the 8-year-old boy who spent nearly a month in quarantine in early 2022, Wheeler contended that the prolonged isolation went beyond government guidelines and unfairly required a clear PCR test for release. The family filed a lawsuit against the Attorney General and the Health Ministry, challenging the quarantine rules and alleging discriminatory treatment compared to unvaccinated travelers who face less restrictive conditions at the time. Deputy Solicitor General Marilyn Brandt defended the policy, asserting the government acted in the country's best interest during an unprecedented pandemic. She maintained the PCR testing was the gold standard and justified strict quarantine measures, particularly since children remained unvaccinated. Justice Jalil Asif questioned the consistency of testing measures and whether the boy could have been released earlier. A ruling in the case has not yet been announced. The Grand Court of the Cayman Islands has ordered a rolled-up hearing for a judicial review application brought by Stuart Mailer, Patricia Bradley, and Christine Rose Smith against the Cabinet of the Cayman Islands. The court has issued an interim stay preventing the National Conservation Council from making any further decisions related to the matter until the judicial review is concluded. The 3 members were removed from the NCC and replaced with other members. The hearing is scheduled for May 15th and 16th. The Elections Office has officially published the latest register of electors, and it marks a record-breaking 25,643 registered voters, the highest in Cayman history. This list determines who is eligible to vote in the 2025 general election and referendum on Wednesday, the 30th of April.
We are thrilled to see such a remarkable increase in the number of registered electors. We are working hard to ensure that every eligible voter has the information and resources they need to cast their ballots confidently. We encourage voters to plan ahead, be informed, and use the available voting options to ensure that their voices are heard.
That's Supervisor of Elections Wesley Howell there. You can find out more at elections.ky or call 949-8047. That is your local news at this hour. I'm April Cummings. Now to the BBC for stories making headlines around the world.
BBC News, I'm John Shea. An Israeli strike on a UN clinic housing displaced people at the Jabalia refugee camp in northern Gaza has reportedly killed at least 16 people, some of them children. Israel's military says it was targeting a Hamas command and control centre there. Earlier, Israel announced another expansion of its military operation in Gaza. The army in Myanmar has admitted firing on a convoy of 9 vehicles from the Chinese Red Cross. They were bringing aid to victims of Friday's huge earthquake. The head of the European Central Bank says Donald Trump's sweeping new tariffs, to be announced later, will have a negative impact across the world. Christine Lagarde said the damage would depend on the extent of the tariffs. South Korea's temporary leader has urged the nation to accept calmly a decision from the Constitutional Court on whether to endorse the impeachment of President Yoon Suk-yeol. The ruling is due on Friday. Greece has announced what it calls a drastic overhaul of its military. It plans to spend $27 billion on new submarines, satellites and a high-tech anti-aircraft system. The Real Madrid football coach Carlo Ancelotti has gone on trial in the Spanish capital accused of fraud. Ancelotti denies allegations that he failed to pay more than $1 million in tax linked to the sale of his image rights. The military rulers in Niger say they freed around 50 people, including ministers who served in the government that was toppled almost 2 years ago. But Niger's former president, Mohamed Bazoum, remains in detention, facing charges of treason. And the military-led government in Sudan says it's asking Interpol and UNESCO to help recover items looted from the National Museum during the current war. The army accuses its rival, the Rapid Support Forces, of destroying or stealing collections of artefacts which date back thousands of years. And that's the latest BBC World News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
The Rotary Central Dr. Bill Rudy Science Fair, a family-friendly event Saturday, April 5th, 8:30 a.m. through noon. The Arc Sports Centre, Cayman Bay. The annual adventure unleashing the magic of science, the wonderment of limitless exploration. Over 50 science projects and experiments representing budding scientists from schools across the Cayman Islands. Sourcing energy, exploring the environment, oceanography, agronomy, rocket propulsion, medical technology, drone technology, water security, eco-solutions, math, chemistry, physics, biology, engineering, nanotechnology. The Rotary Central Science Fair 2025, Saturday, April 5, Cayman Bay. Every child needs to see and feel the magic of science, the magic of Rotary.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its valued customers of planned infrastructure works on Prospect Drive as part of the ongoing upgrades in the Prospect area. Work will begin on the week of the 24th of March and is scheduled to be completed on approximately the 2nd of May. During this time, customers may experience short periods of low water pressure or service outages. The Water Authority will make every effort to notify customers in advance of any service interruptions. Please check our website and social media pages for all updates on service interruptions. Motorists are encouraged to drive carefully along these roads as our crew will be actively on site. The Water Authority apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and appreciates the public's understanding.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 80%. The barometric pressure is 29.96 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east at 9 knots. Overnight low was 75 degrees. Synopsis indicate light to moderate winds and seas are expected to continue across the northwest Caribbean as an area of high pressure remains over the Atlantic Ocean. A gradual increase in winds and seas are expected tonight as the pressure gradient increases along the northwest Caribbean. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman Islands moving towards the west. Now, the forecast for today calling for partly sunny skies with a 20% chance of showers in the afternoon, and temperatures will be in the upper 80s with a heat index near 96 degrees Fahrenheit. Your winds will be east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Tonight, fair skies with a 20% chance of showers and temperatures falling to the upper 70s tonight. Winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. High tide will be this afternoon at 8 minutes past 12. Low tide again this evening at 6:54. Sunset 6:38, sunrise 6:18, and the outlook is calling for moderate to fresh winds and building seas from tomorrow as the area of high pressure builds across the western Atlantic Ocean. A small craft advisory is expected to be issued from tomorrow night. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. Don't lie on your resume. Because if you say you've got trapeze experience, someone might shoot you out of a cannon and expect you to do a gymnast routine while flying through the air at 82 miles an hour. And just because you want to land on your feet doesn't mean you will. But if you're smart, you'll have CG medical insurance, so you get the best coverage for the price.
Get the best coverage for the price. CG Brit-K. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Brit-K, where people come first.
Cayman, could it be you? Tortuga's 10K giveaway is back, and someone's walking away with $10,000 in cash. Every time you spend $25 at Tortuga, in-store or online at tortuga.ky, you get a shot at winning big. As well as $10,000 in cash, we've got thousands in giveaways to hand out every week. Think staycations, the latest iPhones, exclusive experiences, and more. Get in to win. Visit tortuga.ky for the full terms and conditions.
The nation listens. The candidates speak. Subway presents the General Election Debates, live in studio on Radio Cayman 89.9 FM and 93.9 in the Sister Islands. Every Monday and select Wednesdays from 7 to 10 p.m. 2 sessions. One powerful discussion. With Election Day fast approaching, hear what the candidates have to say on the cost of living, housing and development, economic growth, sustainability, education, transport, tourism, immigration, and more. Who has the vision? Who has the plan? Hear it all unfold live, unfiltered, and on the voice of the Cayman Islands. Radio Cayman 89.9 FM and 93.9. Streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Visit Radio Cayman's social media pages for debate details. Brought to you in part by Cayman Enterprise City.
Also brought to you by Reflections, UCCI, and Yum.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Good morning again. This time we check in on traffic. Further up on Shamrock Road and Rex Creighton Boulevard, traffic is flowing moderately. Further down, different story as traffic is steady in some sections, a little heavier in other sections. As you approach the Linford Pearson Highway, traffic is moving on steadily, and slow-moving traffic on Crew Road heading to Georgetown. Coming off of the Lonny Tibbetts Highway, traffic is also heavy. And as we look to the Industrial Park area, moderate flow of traffic, steady but flowing traffic on North Sound Road. Coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, traffic steady, and off of Agnes Way. Owen Roberts Drive, light to moderate traffic flow, as well as coming from the West Bay 4-way stop. On the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moving on moderately in both directions. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue flowing at a good pace. 8 Wood Street moving on pretty good. And that's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12. We'll give you another look at traffic. Have a good morning and click it or ticket.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo Footlong Cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points, or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo footlong cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
For the Health of It, heard on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and repeated on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. Brought to you by UHealth International, University of Miami Health System. International patients go to UHealth International for consultations with renowned physicians, advanced treatment technologies, leading-edge medical therapies, and state-of-the-art surgical procedures. Whatever your particular reason for going to UHealth International, you will receive customized medical care delivered within a compassionate, multicultural setting. The care you need when you need it. The following is a paid political broadcast. The views, information, or opinions expressed in this forum are solely those of the participants of this event and do not represent the views of the management and staff of Radio Cayman.
With Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. As the intro stated, this is a paid political segment. I would advise our listeners and our viewers, if you have any questions or comments that you want to be raised with our guests, please send them to our WhatsApp number, 925-3261. We will convey those to our guests in the studio this morning. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me a leader of the PPM, leader of the opposition, because they're still parliamentarians as well, Honorable Joey Hugh, also in the studio with us, former leader of the PPM, Member of Parliament, Mr. Roy McTaggart. Gentlemen, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. Feels good to be back here with you this morning. Good morning to everyone out there on all three of our beautiful Cayman Islands, and in particular those of Georgetown North. I want to say a pleasant good morning to you, and those who are driving into work, please take your time and be careful and be courteous and not run into any little incidents on the way. But it feels good to be back this morning.
Good morning to you too, OC. It's been few weeks since I've been here, but glad to see you again. Glad to be back. Good morning to the wider Cayman Islands, and specifically to my constituents in Georgetown's East. We talked about, you mentioned about people getting into trouble on the way in, and there was a small accident there at the roundabout by Midtown Plaza.
Okay.
Yeah, and police were there, so it is slowing traffic down a bit.
Yes, definitely.
I would think a whole lot with it, but nevertheless, just drive safely, and we'll all make it to work today.
So a lot has happened since we last met. We're now into the second day of April. The 30th of April, of course, will be election day. Yesterday as well, the official register of electors.
Yes.
Has out. So we now know that is the official register, of electors. It wasn't the official register of electors on nomination day either, despite what some may have thought. But it is. So tell us what's been happening, and let's talk about your campaign and get your messages out there to those persons who you want to convince to vote for you and your candidates.
Thank you, OC. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So the largest voting population we've had thus far, I think. So it's good to know and encouraging to see that so many people got out and registered and hopefully will participate in their democratic right in this very important election coming up on April 30th. But yeah, we have been busy. We have been on the road holding meetings across the different constituencies that we have PPM representatives in, that being Northside, East End, Bodentown, East, Savannah, Newlands, coming right down into Prospect and Red Bay, and then of course Mr. McTaggart in Georgetown East, Georgetown South, Georgetown West, Georgetown Central, and Georgetown North. And that leads me into this coming Friday, Friday the 4th at 7 p.m. We will be in Cayman Brac in support of Ms. Juliana O'Connor-Conley, Premier, our Cayman Brac East candidate for the PPM. So it'll be this coming Friday, 4th at 7 p.m. at Kirk Market parking lot. And a group of us, including former leader and myself, Sir Alden and others will be there in support. And we're looking to have a great turnout over there and really have a fantastic meeting. And Cayman Brac is obviously always special to us. And myself in particular, I am a half Braca. So yes, for me, it's going home. And you know, my entire family is from Cayman Brac East. And so it's a bit of a homecoming for me as well. It's going to be special going there as a leader for the first time officially. And then we come back on Saturday for our manifesto launch on Saturday night. Again, 7 p.m., Compass Green. So that is right next to the Compass building on the intersection of Shedden Road and
North Sound Way, I think.
North Sound Way, it's called, okay. Yes.
Compass Way?
Compass Way is a little road.
The little road, okay,
yeah,
the back,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Huh?
So right there at the Compass building where we had our launch, we'll be back there for the manifesto launch. And we're very excited about that. It's a very detailed 42-page, including a cover manifesto, with lots and lots of information in there. OC, as we've said in the past, this manifesto has been a work in progress. We tracked all of our efforts and concerns during our time in government, and during our time in the opposition, we continue to do so. We continue to track the things that we started. We also then started to track the things that were promised by the government, and we also added the issues that we saw along the way over the last 4 years. So this has been a real exercise of, over the last 8 to 12 years that we have been building this manifesto, and it has turned out to be a wonderful document, and we're very excited to launch that on Saturday, the 5th at Compass Green at 7 p.m. So again, Friday night we'll be in the Brac, Kirk Marketplace, there to support the Premier Honourable Juliana O'Connor-Conley, our candidate for Cayman Brac East, and we'll probably have a few surprises as well. And then back here on Saturday, April 5th at 7 p.m. for the manifesto launch.
Okay. I just wanted to go back really to discuss the final register of voters, OC, because I think the final numbers represent a growth of an addition of well over 2,000 people to the register. And, that represents approximately a 10% growth in the number of registered voters in the Cayman Islands. And to me is indicative of the interest and that people, I believe, are now starting to take in, the political process here in the Cayman Islands. Yes. I do believe that's a strong indicator. because I know we've had there were issues in the past, people not wanting to register because it meant that they were going to be on the list of people being caught summons for jury duty. But I understand even there some changes are being made, might be made. So I'm really happy with that. I mean, certainly in Georgetown South the numbers are well over 1,500 now for the vote as well. So I'm really hopeful and optimistic that we will get a large turnout at the polls come April 30th. I think that will be the best indicator really for the real interest that people have in the whole electoral process. So I mean, we certainly are pushing for get out the vote on election day, and so with regard to Friday, looking forward really to getting over to the Brac. So this would be my third trip over to the Brac in terms of the elections.
Okay.
And I can recall the other two. I mean, that we had some really positive meetings and rallies, and people turned out in the Brac for them. And I'm anticipating that we will have a really large crowd turnout on Friday night for Miss Julie as well. And then Saturday, I mean, the manifesto, like Mr. Leader has said, it's been a work in progress. We've been at it now 4 weeks putting it together. And I don't mind saying, we finished the final editing yesterday. It's now with the printers, and we'll be ready for Saturday evening to distribute and make it public. And then all of our speakers there at the meeting on Saturday night, they will be speaking to various segments or sections of the manifesto. We won't be able to go through everything because, as Lita mentioned, it's 42 pages, including the cover. So it's 38 pages of material, and very lengthy. But I think it summarizes quite succinctly all the policies and programs that the PPM are bringing to the table and will be seeking to implement in the next 4 years when we are elected and return to government. The manifesto, it demonstrates a very bold plan.
Okay.
It demonstrates a very ambitious plan. And but we are committed. We are 13 individuals who have come together and are committed to moving forward as one team, part of the PPM, to deliver for the people of the Cayman Islands.
Yeah. So there is, OC, we talk a lot about to where we are today and where we were 2013 when we were both elected, and it's in many senses it's very similar from the PPM's perspective as far as it's a new era for the PPM. I remember 2013, it was Sir Alden, Mr. Kurt Tibbetts, Mr. Anthony Eden, and Mose Cocarno were the four carrying the torch, and then the rest were all freshmen. Myself, Mr. Archer, Mr. Saku, etc. And here we are again with some experienced members, a nice balance of experienced members and some freshmen. So bringing in a nice balance of experience and new blood, as well as a gender balance with 5 very powerful ladies that will be representing the PPM and will be contesting the election for the PPM and hopefully representing the country after April 30th. So there's that similarity. And when we were reviewing it, dawned on me as we reviewed the final draft of the manifesto, the times are different in the sense that when we took office, or they were similar in the sense that there was, in 2013, a lot of uncertainty. We were in a major recession. The UK had control of our budget. There were all sorts of allegations and investigations. And whilst we're not in that situation right now, there is that uneasiness and that uncertainty as well. But 2013, again, we were in a major recession. Our finances were in shambles. I don't think we're there yet as a country today. The economy is still very strong. So far, we've been able to survive the mini the mini recessions, as they're being called. But it is critical in the sense that we now need to get in there and take control of our finances. We now need to get in there and provide some stability for the future. But also the big difference for me, the glaring difference for me, is that whilst in 2013 we had to look at attracting investment and getting construction going and getting tourism going and getting development going, now it is moving at a rapid pace, and it's time to control that, and also to ensure that we have, 4 more years without a national development plan is just embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. And that, you've heard me say it over here on this show, is the foundation of anything we want to try to achieve. So until we get that done, and that's low-hanging fruit, we will hit the ground with that running right away. But most importantly for me is recognizing that it is time now, it has been time for a while, with the rapid growth in the population and especially in imported workers, that we focus entirely on ensuring that this growth and this development is benefiting those that it is intended to benefit, and that is the Caymanian people, and only the Caymanian people, because without focusing on that, what is the purpose of it? And so we need it. We welcome the investment. Once it's sustainable, we welcome the investment, but we have to ensure that our people are benefiting from it, and that they are able to live, not just survive, but strive in an economy where everyone else, most people are. So we can't leave our people behind, and a lot of the policies that you will see in this manifesto speaks exactly to that.
Okay, one of our listeners wanted to know whether or not there was any consideration of presenting the manifesto in the Brac.
No, we kind of talked about it, but I think it's we had everything set up here for Saturday the 5th. And we had to, unfortunately, due to illness and other issues, we had to move the Cayman meeting. So it's just the timing turned out that way. But we will be ready, and we will be presenting the copies on Saturday. And then I am hoping that we will have electronic copies immediately following that, too, that we can also disperse those.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break now. When we return, the conversation with Honorable Joey Hugh, leader of the opposition, and also the leader of the People's Progressive Movement, as well as former leader of the opposition and former leader of the People's Progressive Movement, Mr. Roy McTaggart. We will continue our conversation as soon as we return from this short commercial break.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite band-aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. But don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
And now a paid political message from the Progressives.
Hi, this is Delmira Bodden, PPM candidate for East End. Please join me at Miss Lucille Rankin's yard on Wednesday, April 2nd at 7:30 p.m. Come out and hear the issues that matter to you. The solutions we are ready to deliver. Cayman needs proven, stable leadership. That's exactly what PPM is about. Let's keep moving forward with the PPM.
We're moving forward, PPM. We're moving forward.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record, this paid political segment with the part of the leadership of the People's Progressive Movement. Gentlemen, I'm going to throw the mic back over to you as well. I think we had a comment from one of our listeners in relation to the location, Kirk Marketplace or Marketplace, and the parking lot, the distinction between the two. I want to take that on.
Yeah, my apologies. I can't remember. I know I did say Cocarnal, but it is Cocarnal Market, in the parking lot of Cocarnal Market. So that's Moses Supermarket. That is where we will be having the meeting on Friday night at 7 p.m. So I encourage everyone in the Sister Islands to come out, those in East and West, to come and join us in Cayman Brac on Friday night. So we will certainly have a fantastic lineup of speakers, and it should be an enjoyable evening. So once again, encouraging everyone to come out and see us on Friday evening at 7 p.m. at Kirk, at the Cocarnal Market. That's Mo's Supermarket in the parking lot. So yeah, we again, we are launching our manifesto, and you know, the idea, again, I want to repeat that it has been a work in progress. We've been going along, producing this manifesto over the last several years, tracking, listening to the public, understanding what the issues are, and evolving it as we moved along. And we also have a good grasp of what is there at government, what the low-hanging fruit are, what the things are that will immediately impact the lives of our people. Because we started a lot of those, and we've been tracking those since we started them. We brought a lot of private member motions to Parliament. We've been monitoring the government. We've seen what they have started, and we have identified one of those I spoke to you about when it comes to sustainability is the National Development Plan, not being reviewed since 1997. We know that is all there, ready to go. That is hit the ground running. Public transportation is there, ready to hit the ground running. We have plans. We left plans. We've developed further plans. We brought private member motions on housing for Caymanians, achievable housing for Caymanians, not just affordable, not low budget, but achievable housing. This means assisting Caymanians across the spectrum in attaining home ownership. And we feel that this is important because it's not just, I think it's affecting every one of us. And if you don't have the luxury of parents who are able to help you to purchase a place now, it is very difficult for any individual to come back home from university and rent a place to live, and then save the money to find the down payment to purchase a home, no matter at what level. And the other thing we don't want to do is, to start to just put all of our Caymanians in one location and not allow that social diversification, and allow people to recognize their dreams. If they wanted to live in Savannah, if they wanted to live at the bottom of West Bay Road, if they wanted to live in East End on the beach, if it's achievable and it falls within the remit, then why aren't we assisting them in realizing these dreams. And so, without letting out too much, because we were chatting earlier, I'm not sure if the other two parties have released any manifestos or any details as yet. But without releasing too much, we have wonderful programs that we know will work. A lot of these programs, we found them over internationally. I had a friend in the UK that participated in one of the programs, and it worked really well for them. I've spoken about this one in particular. That is a shared ownership with the government, where you buy in and you can continue to increase your ownership of the home with the government until you're ready to sell back into the program and move on to get something else. So, when you look at the City of London, again, it would be almost impossible for someone that's working in and around London to afford to purchase a home there, coming out of university and stuff. So that's where they put programs in place like the shared ownership that allows persons to get a start in home ownership, to get some equity, to build equity, to be able to move on to purchase something for themselves, whether that's in London or somewhere else. So these are, we're looking at and we understand the issues facing our Caymanians and things such as insurance, health insurance in particular. If we imagine a single parent with two children getting getting a decent job, the amount of money that comes out of their salary at the end of the month or the end of the week to cover themselves and their two children by law makes it very difficult to survive, to take home anything else after pensions and as well. So we are looking at programs that will help ease that burden on our people. We're looking at programs with the utility companies and reducing the taxes on fuel. There will have to be sacrifices made on the financial side of it. That's why we have Mr. McTaggart to balance that for us. But we have to give our Caymanian people some hope. We have got to relieve some of the pressures that they're facing. The Deputy Premier, Honourable Kenneth Bryan, constantly talks about the stress that people are facing. And he talks about it all the time, but he's absolutely right. When we look at our people, our friends, our family, and sometimes we run into them, we see the stress on their faces, the frustrations that they're facing. They can't get one step ahead. We have to be able to assist our people to relieve some of those stresses, to make them feel as if they're actually progressing somewhat in their own country. And so we have a slew of programs that we know we can hit the ground running on. We know that we are the only party that have the ability to hit the ground running in this way, to offer meaningful change that will affect our people immediately and allow them some breathing room. And again, like I said, not just to survive, but also to strive in Cayman, in our home. So, we're really excited. There's a lot of stuff in there to deal with inclusion, mental health, in particular mental health with our children. We feel that this is something that deserves a lot more attention. And again, this is all a part of trying to help our people. When you have young families that are dealing with mental health in their family, they feel all alone sometimes, and we have to ensure that we are there for them. We have to ensure that the opportunities are there for the healing of that loved one, but also supporting those who are dealing with that.
Okay, one question that we have here. The person points out that the current government has been actively acquiring or reacquiring land in the Cayman Islands, especially beach property and other properties for public use. I'm wanting to know whether or not you will continue in that vein as well.
I think if the finances allow it, we will. One of the things that I will be interesting is to hear and see from, I guess, the civil service and those members who are with us, what the plans are for the maintenance of these properties. What are they going to be earmarked for? Are they all going to become parks? Are we just preserving them for environmental purposes? I've heard a lot of talk about camping grounds and that sort of stuff. So we have to now go back and look at our budget again. We have to talk about it. It's fantastic. I know that they're opening a couple of parks up east it's fantastic to have all of these beach parks and stuff, but if you don't put the revenue in place to maintain them, then they just become an eyesore. Then they become a problem. And we did have a plan. We were looking at a plan prior to COVID where we wanted to set up park managers by districts almost to manage the different parks and public beaches, the restrooms, and really put some effort into ensuring that you know, after a busy day on any one of the public parks or public beaches, that when we get up in the morning and go for a walk on the beach, that we're not traversing through a pile of garbage and beer bottles and all that sort of stuff. One of the things that I am hearing on a daily basis, OC, and we're going to have to deal with, and again, I think this is different cultures, is that people are finding they go to the beach. One in particular I understand is the governor's beach, which is right next to the governor's house. But they go to the beach to relax. Again, talking about the stress, as Caymanians, we understand the healing of water. And when we get upset, that's what we want to go and see. We want to go and look at the water. But when they get there, there's some vending happening, but also very loud music. And the smoking of marijuana and that sort of stuff. And so when we talk about developing all these beach parks, we also simultaneously have to put in place plans to maintain them and police them and regulate them.
Okay, we have to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite band-aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. But don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, the Honourable Joey Hugh, as well as Mr. Roy McTaggart. Before I throw the mic back over to you, since you're going to be in the Brac this weekend, we know that there's a carve-out in the Constitution for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. They must return 2 members in our Parliament. No such carve-out in relation to membership in Cabinet. Do you have any views on that, and what do you say to Brackers in terms of their representation in Cabinet if you're successful in forming a government?
Yeah, well, thank you for that, OC, and you're absolutely right. And this is why it was important for us to have a candidate in the Sister Islands. And we feel that we will win this election. And I say to the people of Cayman Brac that it's important that you have real representation at the table, and you've had that look at the you know, the infrastructure improvements that you've had over the last 12 years. Having someone at the table, and you know, if you want to have a person in the government at the table, real decision capabilities, then you need to vote for Ms. Juliana O'Connor Connolly, and the PPM candidate, the PPM candidate there in Cayman Brac. It's vital, and I've watched over the 12 years, almost 12 years we've been there. We've watched a relationship, even, you know, when Ms. Julie felt it was important for her to go and join the previous government, so that Cayman Brac did have representation in there. We watched how her and Mose worked together across the floor. There's no division there. when you have Cayman Brac members, you know, there's no division. When they get into Parliament, when it's about Cayman Brac, they're together, they're unified on that, right?
And that has been from, you know, in the past parliaments and you know, past legislative assemblies as well. They always stick together.
They always stick together, and it's, you know, whilst we only have one candidate over there, there's, you know, we don't have an official candidate in Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman. We feel that, you know, we will be able to put a government together, and that Ms. Julie will be an integral part of that government. And even though another party has two candidates over there, the question has to be asked, do you feel confident that those two candidates will be able to form a government?
Okay, Mr. McTaggart?
Well, I just want to go back to something, a theme that Joey was speaking about. And, you know, very shortly after the elections, you know, the new government will have to deliver a strategic policy statement. I think that has to happen it's either June or July.
Yeah,
that it has to happen. So, you know, it's another indication there that the government's going to have to hit the ground running, because right now, I mean, work will already have started on the preparation of the next 2-year budget that would begin on 1st of January 2025. So it is, in my view, you know, extremely critical that that the government, we would have to be ready to, you know, to work on that strategic policy statement, as well as devoting the time and resources to the preparation of the budget for 2025 and 2026 and 2027. I've lost my train of thought. The
SPS.
Yes, the SPS then, you know, it should contain all of the aims and ambitions of the new government that it would like to see accomplished. You're going to have one in 2025, and there's also one for 2027 that would have to be prepared for the following 2-year period. But in terms of the election itself, certainly what I am anxiously awaiting is a pre-election financial update that is going to be coming from the Ministry of Finance. That, I think, to me, is one of the key elements that are missing right now in terms of any discussion and debate on policies and with regard to, you know, the election, what is the state of government finances at this point in time, and we're waiting for that to happen now.
Yeah. Before you go, Mr. Hugh, one of our listeners was curious to know what your position or the party's position is on the referendum questions. They're pointing out that a lot of talk is on the political, the voting end of things in terms of candidates, but there are also referendum questions on there, and whether or not your party has any position in relation to those.
I think there's been a tremendous amount of debate, in particular on the port side, on the port referendum, and I believe we're now at a place, as I said during my debate in Parliament, that it's now time for the people to make their decision. You know, I think our party over the past few years have indicated that we believe that it's time to stop ruining our young persons' lives with criminal convictions on small amounts of marijuana. This is not legalization. And I think that's a point that has to get across, is that we're not, the referendum doesn't ask for it to be legalized, but simply decriminalized. And then there'll be a lot of work to be done in all three instances, but a lot of work will need to be done after, if there is a yes vote, then comes down to what quantity. Will it be a graduated system where the fines go up, and then ultimately can it become a conviction, or do you have to go to rehabilitation after multiple offenses? There's a lot of questions to be answered after that, but certainly in all three questions, it gives the next government a pulse on what the nation feels they want to see happen. The same with the national lottery. I want to make it clear that I think a lot of people out there feel that this is going to legalize the little numbers shops around the island. That is not what this question is asking. This question is asking whether government should look into developing a national lottery. Now, how is that going to look? That's going to require a lot of groundwork to see whether or not it'll be feasible, that you can actually but be able to run the lottery at a affordable and profitable level, and then what would you do with the funding from that lottery? And is that going to be once a week, twice a week, once a month? There's a lot of questions to be answered there, but it's not about legalizing gambling again. So I think that's what persons will, there are some people who think that it's going to legalize gambling because they want gambling legalized, and there are some who are concerned because they believe that this will legalize gambling and they do not want to see gambling legalized. We have not as a party taken a position on that question. We certainly believe that something has to be done about the unregulated gambling that happens in the country, and the amount of money that I understand is leaving the country as a result of it. And then the final one is the cruise berthing facility. We have always said, I have maintained personally, that if we are going to stay in the business of cruise tourism, we have got to do a better job for our visitors. We would never let our visitors at the airport go through what we see the visitors going through at the cargo port, standing outside on a covered tarmac in the port, and sometimes with the blazing heat in the night, sometimes with pouring rain. If we are going to stay in that industry, we have got to do something better for our visitors. We have a million questions. A lot has changed since 2013 when we first looked at it, where cruise tourism had grown back to 2 million. It's nowhere near that now. We're down to 50% less than that, basically.
50%, yeah.
And then we've lost a lot of the businesses in Georgetown, and more are closing. I got indication from some of the biggest ones that the minute it dips below 1 million, they're going to close their stores, because regionally they've found that it's not feasible to stay open with that many visitors per year. But the questions that will have to be answered if there is a yes vote is how many piers, where, what is the carrying for us? What is important is what is the carrying capacity for Grand Cayman and the cruise ships in Grand Cayman? What does that look like? 6, 8, 10, 15,000? I know we did a bit of that research back in 2013 to 2017 when we were looking at it. And the feedback was, hey, listen, after 4 ships, it's not really worth it, because only so many people can come through the door in a day. Of course, the ships are much smaller then. So we have to look at matters like that. But again, a yes vote on any of these matters don't mean that you're going to immediately have these things implemented. There's going to be a lot of work and good governance that will be required before you get to a position.
Okay.
So
I know you have to leave us.
Yes.
I want to give you a chance for some closing comments before we go
break.
to
Certainly. Again, I want to encourage everyone. I will be in Cayman Brac, so will Mr. McTaggart, and a bunch of us will be there on Friday. Come on out and hear what the PPM has planned for our 3 islands, and hear from your PPM representative, the Honourable Juliana O'Connor Conley. Friday, 7 p.m. at the Kirkernel Market parking lot. That's Moe's Supermarket in the parking lot. And then on Saturday night is our big night. We want the entire Grand Cayman, and anyone that wants to come from Cayman, Brac, and Little Cayman, please come down to Compass Green. It's going to be electrifying. It's going to be a wonderful evening, and we'll be releasing our manifesto there. Like I said, 42 pages from front to back and lots of information in there. We're going to care for the vulnerable and keep the public finances strong and disciplined. We're going to grow our economy and protect the environment that sustains it. We're going to support small business and secure fair, livable wages for our workers. We're going to expand opportunities for Caymanians and manage our population growth. We're going to modernize infrastructure and preserve the character of our districts, attract investment and ensure Caymanians benefit from it all, and support the next generation and respect the contributions of our elders, while at the same time reducing crime and building trust between communities and our law enforcement.
Okay, thank you
that,
very much.
Sir, is a summary of the, of the manifesto.
Yes, we're going to go to our headline news. When we return, we will have the two Roys in the studio with us. Mr. Roy Tatum will join Mr. Roy McTaggart in the studio, and we will continue our conversation. So we ask you to please don't change that dial. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
We are Radio Cayman, covering Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman. 1 in a million. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
I'm April Cummings with your latest headlines. Phase 2 of the regulatory framework for virtual asset services in the islands is in effect with the following amended acts and regulations. Virtual Asset Service Providers Amendment Act 2024, Commencement Order 2025, Virtual Asset Service Providers Act 2020, Commencement Order 2025, and Virtual Asset Service Providers Amendment Regulations 2025. In international headlines, a trio of elections Tuesday provided early warning signs to Republicans and President Donald Trump at the beginning of an ambitious term, as Democrats rallied against his efforts to slash the federal government and the outsized role being played by billionaire Elon Musk. In the marquee race for Wisconsin Supreme Court seat, the conservative judge endorsed by Trump and backed by Musk and his groups to the tune of $21 million lost by a significant margin in the state that Trump won back in November. And while Florida Republicans held 2 of the most pro-Trump House districts in the country, both candidates also underperformed Trump's November margins. Israel's military operation in Gaza is expanding to seize large areas. That's what the defense minister says, while officials at hospitals inside the Palestinian territory say Israeli strikes overnight and into today, it killed more than 30 people, nearly a dozen of them children. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. As promised, the two Roys in the studio. You earlier heard the voice of Mr. Roy McTaggart. We now have in the studio with us Mr. Roy Tatum, who's the PPM candidate seeking to represent the constituency of Red Bay in our parliament. Mr. Roy Tatum. Mr. Tatum, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Morning, OC. Thank you very, very much. Morning, Roy M. And morning to the Cayman Islands and to the people of Red Bay. And I always extend warm hellos and to my friends and family in Cayman Brac. So good to be here, sir.
Okay. I would say that the competition and the canvassing in Red Bay has to probably be one of the most exciting, with 3 brand new candidates.
More than 3.
There.
4?
I mean, so 4, sorry. 4 brand new candidates.
Well,
there.
5,
all
5 including me.
Right, yeah. 5 in total. All new candidates. You could almost say level playing field for all. How are things going for you?
You know, I remember when spoke with Sir Alden with regards running in Red Bay, and he said to me, you know, Roy, as soon as people hear that I'm not running, you're going to see people running for the seat. So he was right. He was right. He was exactly right. It's been good. It's been really, really good going out and meeting my neighbours and the constituents of Red Bay. I met one this morning as I walked in the door here, and had a very nice chat with her. If she's listening, I just want to tell her again, thanks for coming to say hello and good morning. It was really, really nice to see her, and we had a very, very good conversation. So yes, it has been good. It has been exciting, tiring, but we're on the move. As the PPM song says, we're moving forward, and I'm looking forward, especially to going to Cayman Brac this Friday for the meeting, and then coming back to Grand Cayman for the launch of the.
That's your first home too, right?
Sorry?
Your first home. Right?
That's home. That's where my parents are from. That's where I spent my early years. I did spend some of that overseas as well, as I think you know. But I've spent. I have to admit, I've spent more years in Grand Cayman than I have in Cayman Brac, and I've spent most of my time in Grand Cayman in the Red Bay Prospect area. My first second apartment in when I worked with Barclays Bank back then was what we used to call Selkirk Watler apartment. It had a fancier name than Bogan Villa or something, I think it was. But I was there for many years, and that's where I was living when I met my wife, who was living on Grape in Prospect. So.
Okay. So you have been able to hear some of the concerns, or a lot of the concerns, of the people of Red Bay. And while you do have a party platform, and come Saturday night you will have a published party manifesto as well, the saying is all politics
is local.
Right?
Yep.
So your focus is mainly on Red Bay?
You have to get elected. Someone asked me the other day, well, Roy, what ministry will you want? I said, let me focus on getting elected, and then we can talk about ministers after that. But not only do we have is our party manifesto coming out, but the first time I was on here with you, I mentioned I started my what I call my listening tour. So next week, also coming off the printing press, will be available in soft copies, is going to be my Red Bay Manifesto, covering many of the things that we all know impact Red Bay, but also covering some of the things that, from a national perspective, that also has an impact. So that'll be coming out next week, Tuesday. So look forward to that.
Okay, Mr. McTaggart, you want to slip in on the conversation?
Well, I'm currently developing too a manifesto for Georgetown East constituency. Very diverse. The needs of the people vary greatly in the district, and but there is one that really transcends them both, but transcends all there, and that is that I have got to get a solution for is the flooding in the interior there in the Randike area when rains come. It not just affects the residents of Randike, but it also affects the people of South Sound, where there is a culvert that drains the excess water into the ocean and into the South Sound area. And I understand, I haven't been there to snorkel or see, but I understand it's having a negative effect on the coral life there with algae growing. I really, the minister told me when he first took office that they had a solution for it. What it appears the solution was to install two huge pumps in the Randike area and deep wells from which the water would be sucked up off the ground, because it gets quite deep when it rains, and putting it into the deep wells. And while that works a little bit during the rainy season, the deep wells fill quickly, and it's just not capable of doing the job that they want it to. The only thing that works right now is that culvert draining water out of that area, and it is quite significant. The not just the inconvenience, but the damage it causes to the people living in the area because their homes flood. And man, I remember when we had some of the heavy rains over that one weekend, or back in January, we had the nor'wester with all the heavy rains. I mean, the water was so high I couldn't get in there for about 3 days.
Wow.
That's just the truth, and people are having to trek through it. So that's a huge issue that personally I have to tackle again with the government, and particularly with the NRA, to see what can be done to alleviate the problems that exist in that community.
Another topical issue is the accessibility to constituency offices, and while you have your main headquarters and everything, in speaking to some of the other candidates in the Red Bay area, for instance, they've spoken about the challenges of identifying constituents or office space that is would be convenient for the constituents.
They are absolutely correct. And I heard you mention this on another program. So a few months back, I along with another person, tried to find a location, and that was very challenging. However, there is a location, I believe, that I'm hoping may come available after the election, all going well, and if so, then I have found somewhere. But if that doesn't come to fruition, then I will keep looking, and assuming, of course, and God's willing, that I am the new MP for Red Bay. But it is a challenge. I will have an office that people can come to outside of the main PPM office. So I will find somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. And what I would say to that too, OC, I mean, I'm extremely fortunate in that I've always had the PPM main office in the Georgetown East District. So I've always had an office there. And, over these past 4 years, I've also had, because of my presence there, obviously the office of the Leader of the Opposition has always been there as well. So I have always had a lot of traffic coming in and out of the office there, people to see me. And, over the past 4 years, I have made myself available every working day of the week to receive people, not just from my constituency, but as Leader of the Opposition, they come from all walks and all areas of Grand Cayman and the Brac and Little Cayman. I wouldn't say Little Cayman, but I certainly have had visits to people coming in from the Brac who, while here, do come into the office to see me and discuss issues with me as well. And I mean, I've done everything I could to help everyone with the issues that they have. That most of the times, people coming in, they're looking for assistance to help them traverse the intricacies of dealing with government. They don't know. They have a problem. They don't know where to go, who to speak to. And that's where I do come in. I've been able, I think, to make the most impact because I'm able to point them in the right direction. And once that happens, generally speaking, they're able to get their issues resolved with government in there. So for me, it's been a very a busy 4 years, as leader of the opposition. And, fulfilling that role too is a challenge because, the real issues not issues, but role I think of the opposition is to keep hold the government to account and keep them in check. And that takes a lot of effort and monitoring of what is happening within the government to be able to function effectively and deliver what the role demands that you do and be in our parliament.
Okay, so we're going to go to a commercial break. Or when we return, would you then say, and you can answer it then, that as with you no longer being the leader of the opposition, we don't know whether or not if your party is successful, if you would hold a ministerial position, but does that mean now that you will be able to give even more attention to your constituents by not having to shoulder the responsibility of being the leader of the opposition while at the same time, representing your constituents? So you can answer that when we return. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. The conversation with the two Roys, PPM's two Roys, Mr. Roy Tatum and Mr. Roy McTaggart, will continue after this short commercial break. So please stay tuned.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Step back in time and discover the rich history of the Cayman Islands at the National Museum. Located on the waterfront in Georgetown, the National Museum is proudly housed in the Old Courts Building, Cayman's oldest standing public building. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And here's the best part, Saturdays are free for residents. Don't forget to visit our museum gift shop. Every purchase helps preserve our artifacts and the historic building we call home. Visit www.museum.ky for more information.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget, our Custom Closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
With Orrett Connor.
Good afternoon, good morning, and welcome back to For the Record. I got to make sure that I know where I'm at, and what time of the day it is, as well. But we have here a paid political segment on Radio Cayman and For the Record. Earlier, we had the Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Joey Hugh, in the studio with us, along with Mr. Roy McTaggart. We now have Mr. Roy Tatum in the studio, along with Mr. Roy McTaggart. The question before we went to the break was more time to devote to your constituents if you don't have all of the other issues to deal with as well, and whether or not you become a member of cabinet if the PPM is successful in forming a government after the results on the 30th of April.
Yeah. Well, I would say to you, OC, that since I relinquished my role as leader of the opposition back in October of last year, it certainly has freed up some time for me that I've been able to devote to the constituency and to people and their needs. What I would say to OC is, when the PPM is elected, I firmly believe that we will form the next government, and I would certainly desire a cabinet post, and I have served as a cabinet member in the past, so I believe I have a lot that I can bring to the table with a new Progressives government. In my former role as Minister for Finance, certainly I believe I can able to fill that position again, and I do have the capability to handle it and deal with it well. And I can only point to my contributions and how we left the finances of the government in 2021 when we left, and when we lost the government. So I believe I do have a lot that I can bring to the table there. Now, I have advocated for, and when the Parliament went through a benchmarking exercise with the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association last year, I spoke with the canvassers that visited Cayman, and in my contributions, I advocated strongly for the government and for the Parliament to bring more resources to bear on the office of the Leader of the Opposition. I believe that it is important that it does so, and because there's nothing there for the Leader of the Opposition, and I had to bring the office of the Leader into the PPM office for the 4 years. I had to also bring, my constituency office assistant. I was also performing in that role, as well as managing, issues with relation to my role as Leader of the Opposition. And there were times when it become really challenging. And I think we have to remember that the Leader of the Opposition is a constitutional position. It deserves resources, and it deserves adequate resources to allow the leader to function as a Leader of the Opposition. And I really got no extra, resources than I would have if I just been an ordinary member of Parliament in that new role. Yes, there was a slight uptick in my compensation, but it was like 2 or 3% over. So I think it is absolutely important that attention be given to it. And during my term, I actually had a conference meeting with a number of other leaders of the opposition throughout the Caribbean to discuss this very issue. That effort then in that meeting was led by Mr. Alan Chastanet from St. Lucia.
St. Lucia? I believe he's currently on island.
He is on island. And
yesterday.
we had discussions about the role of the leader, because I think what the experience here is quite extensive across the Caribbean. Nobody gives two hoots about the Leader of the Opposition. No resources given, and I think that personally believe that the profile of the office needs to be raised to what quite substantially in our whole electoral process and governing process, and give it the recognition it deserves.
Yeah, I can tell you, one of the smaller overseas territories, I recall their at that time he would be called the leader of government business, saying that when he became the premier, he offered the leader of opposition a truck to drive, a pickup truck to drive. So that was his that was his benefit, for being the leader of the opposition. Yeah. I mean, that's how trivialized, it was.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, I think it's just absolutely time for that to change, not just here in Cayman, but throughout the Caribbean. So I'm hopeful that that will give it the attention it deserves.
Yeah. I would chime in and agree. It doesn't matter who the opposition is, right? But the opposition in Parliament, the leader of the opposition, as the former leader said, is a constitutional role, but it's an important service, an important duty. Opposition's role is to keep the government in check and to be the government in waiting. I do agree with there is additional resources needed. Our plan is to be the government next time around, so I'm championing the cause, I guess, for whoever the new opposition is going to be. But we do need to try to get some more additional resources for the opposition. I was fortunate to be able to work alongside Mr. McTaggart when he was leader of the opposition, and now with the Honourable Joey Hugh. But I do believe, though, that despite the lack of some additional resources would be useful. For example, the members amongst themselves have, out of their pockets, put some money forward for us to be able to have assistance on some policy matters from an individual who is extremely knowledgeable on a wide range of policy matters. But this is something they had to put their hands in their own pockets to get done over the last 4 years. So that is something that's necessary. But we have, I believe, as an opposition, done a stellar job doing our role, fulfilling the function. And I do believe, I say this hand on hand, I think we were probably the most effective opposition the country has seen in many years. So I say that quite proudly because it is an important role within the Parliament and within our society. Having said that, we do expect to, God's willing, I'll be elected and the PPM will form the next government. So some of the solutions you were mentioning early on with regards to flooding impacts Red Bay as well. And when our manifesto is launched, folks will see in there some solutions to flooding, including, if I remember correctly, finding better use for grey water. Do we have to dump this, get this stuff, the water, and have it piped into the ocean? Is there something else we can actually do with it? So those are things we need to start to consider.
And we may have to even start to look further. I was listening to one weather report, about the Caribbean itself and the long droughts that we have been enduring and likely to come later as well. Yeah. So if we have this excess water, we may want to really be looking ahead to see, rather than pumping it and wasting it, how we can take it and recycle it and reuse it as well, because I think that time is coming.
Yeah. Well, I think, you are right, O.C. We were, as a country, we had gone through a drought for several years where our average rainfall was probably around half, some years even less than half of what the average was. We were extremely fortunate last year because we had real excess, significant excess rainfall, and that, I think, had contributed greatly to the issues. They certainly had exacerbated the issues of the flooding. But it's I do have to agree. We have to find a solution there, and part of that solution may be the issue with the storing that water.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take a commercial break. When we return, we'll talk a little bit about numbers. We see the register of electors came into force yesterday. The real register of electors that will be used during the election period. So that register of electors that was out there on the 1st of January that ran until the 1st of April no longer obtains. We now have a new one. Let's talk about some of the numbers, whether or not what increases you have seen in terms of the numbers in your constituency and how that will affect the way you go about campaigning, because these are new voters that you're trying to woo as well, you know, as far as voting for you. Folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Step back in time and discover the rich history of the Cayman Islands at the National Museum. Located on the waterfront in Georgetown, the National Museum is proudly housed in the Old Courts building, Cayman's oldest standing public building. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And here's the best part, Saturdays are free for residents. Don't forget to visit our museum gift shop. Every purchase helps preserve our artifacts and the historic building we call home. Visit www.museum.ky for more information.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record and the two PPM Roys in the studio, Mr. Roy Tatum and Mr. Roy McTaggart. I'm good without any more words because you're paying for it, for this as well. Not paying for my words, but your words. I'm going to throw the mic over to you.
All right. OC, I think you were asking with the increases, and I think it's about 2,000 individuals added to the voters list.
Yes.
I think that's what I heard earlier on as I was driving in. So the question was, how does that change our approach, or how does that change my approach? It actually doesn't. Other than you might have to work harder, there's more people to reach. But really, the important thing is to knock on doors, talk to people, look them in their eye and ask them for their vote. Mm-hmm. See what their concerns are, if they have issues with me or with the party, or just issues in general, and look to address those. But it really means connecting with people. For some of the new voters, we all have different ways of reaching them, but also a specific outreach to new voters. So I have an exercise I'm about to start this coming week. I'm looking forward to that. So I'm also glad to see so many more people becoming involved in the electoral process. I do come across people still who tell me that they're not voting. I came across one gentleman just 2 nights ago who said to me as I knocked on his door, and he opened the door, he said to me he was happy to see me. He had decided once he heard I was in a race to vote for me because he was determined he wasn't going to vote. For whatever reason, we didn't get into the whys. But I was just pleased that he was willing to continue engaging, because if you don't vote, you still vote. That's what I firmly believe, and I'd rather be involved than not. So, Ryan, your thoughts?
I think you're dead right with your observations there, Roy T. Looking at the register, OC, I think in Georgetown East, the number is 1,581. on the final register that came out yesterday. That represents an increase of about 200 people in the Georgetown East subdivision constituency. And that's better than a 10%, about a 12, 13% increase. So, higher than the average. And we have seen, some of the constituencies like Georgetown, is it Georgetown? No, West Bay South, which has now become like number 1 or number 2 in terms of numbers of registered voters. There's only one vote that registered voter. The difference between I think is Bordentown East and Georgetown South in terms of numbers of voters. So we can see quite easily looking at the list that's out now just where the growth is taking place. And I said earlier with you here that, I believe that the numbers and increases that we are seeing from over the last election in terms of registered voters is a real indication of the voting population's desire to become involved in the whole electoral process. And I find that really encouraging for us, and I think it bodes well for us for the future, and I hope that will continue. Now, in terms of changes for me in the way I canvass or way I reach out to my constituency, no, I just need, and I'm doing a lot more walking and canvassing and visiting with constituents, and I've got a number of people who are helping me with that, and I end up. What I find myself doing quite a bit sometimes is going to see people who they have canvassed. If they say, "Well, I'd really like to see the member," or "I'd like to see the candidate," and I will go and spend time with them, deal with whatever issue or whatever it is that prompted them to say that they wanted to see me. Quite often, it's just a real short meet and greet and a 5-minute talk is all that they really want. But sometimes they've got genuine concerns and issues that they want to talk about and want to know if you are going to deal with it or if you will help them to resolve whatever the issue may be. So it means, I think, in terms of the numbers, just more time that you have to commit to the process to get through it all. And started long before that final road came out. Yes, we've been at it for weeks.
And in addressing the increase in numbers, those persons have taken the effort to get themselves registered.
Yes.
Because remember, we no longer do the door-to-door or house-to-house enumeration.
Yeah.
We no longer do that. You have to present yourself to be registered. So those persons have gone through that process.
Yeah.
That means that they want to be involved in the process. That right away
Which
signals
is a good
to
thing.
you.
Which is a very good thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
To just finish off my thoughts here on this, one of the other things that I have observed is I perceive that there is an increase in the number of absentee ballot applications that are coming. It's certainly in my district. I see, quite a few coming through, and I'll be honest, the majority of what I'm seeing, they're coming from students who are at universities overseas, and that I find very, very encouraging because it tells me now that they too are engaged. And I hope what that means too is that you will have more young people engaging in the process and who will go to the polls and cast their ballots on April 30th.
Okay.
And so I that was something that I have only picked up just recently.
And if I could,
go ahead.
if you don't mind,
No.
we would want to take this opportunity to remind our voters as well that based on the program from the elections office, the deadline for postal or mobile voting requests will be the Thursday, the 17th of April as well. So that's important for people to know.
It really is. The other thing was I'd like to add in terms of this increase, and the importance of people being involved. I reflect back on what I call the giddy days, so to speak, of when the PPM was formed back in 2000, and just the number of people who were galvanized to become a part of the PPM. And I was one of those. Barbara was one of those. But also, as I reflect, God's willing, if I am elected, I will be the only PPM member of Parliament that goes back to those early days. The old guard, as they say. But the importance of just the number of people being involved, and actually and because we all care about the country, but we can't always just care about it by sitting on our couch and just rowing with each other about what we like and what we don't like. Actually get involved and participate. I've mentioned to one or two of individuals running in candidates in the upcoming election, regardless of what happens, stay involved. You don't win your seat, at least stay involved. And I meant that when I said it, because it is hugely important. And I'm glad to see that some of those naysayers who didn't believe in party politics have now decided to put parties together. We were discussing during the break in terms of whether they're structured as a proper party. At least they've understood finally what I've found out years ago, that if you're going to compete and represent your country, organized politics is the best way to do it. You come together, you develop a manifesto, you speak to people, you understand what the issues and concerns are, and you put together a manifesto. We have manifestos going back for the 2005 election, 2009 election, straight through to a manifesto which will be launched this coming weekend.
And you do have review periods as well if you're in government in terms of what stages you are in terms of. We
do. And we've actually done that. And when you look at a PPM manifesto, I challenge anybody that you can go on our website and you can find all those manifestos back to 2005. When you look at a PPM manifesto when we're in government, you can go through and you can tick off things. Neighborhood policing, which needs a rework now. Neighborhood policing was one of the things we campaigned on. We put it in place. The Coast Guard we campaigned on. We put it in place. Separating immigration from the work permit aspect of things. Some people think it's a good idea, some people not, but we thought it was the right thing to do. We put it in place. Increasing stipends for some of our most vulnerable in society. We put it in place. 2013, when we took office, that was $450.
Yeah.
When by the time the 2021 election rolled around, we actually doubled that to $950, and we had plans to move it to $1,200, which it did, which we fought for even in opposition, and we went there, and now it's $1,500 a month.
Yeah.
So working towards helping the most vulnerable is the other thing that we've fought to do. So you can take a PPM manifesto, look through it when we're in government. You can tick things off as you go through.
Yeah, what I would remind to, I recall quite distinctly in 2021, during lead up to the election at that point in time, the Compass did a report on our achievements during during our term in office.
Okay.
And they're found, and they clearly stated, and it sits with me so well to this day, that the PPM had delivered on the vast majority of their promises.
I think they missed some, but anyhow.
Well, they might have, but I mean, it was hugely encouraging to get that kind of validation. We didn't ask them to do it, but they did it as part of response. One of the things they thought they should do.
And they did that for everybody in the room, right? So it wasn't just us. Which is why I see in Red Bay there are two independent candidates. I know them both, but I shake my head though when I hear them saying, "This is what I'll do. I'll get this done. I'll get that done. I'll get something else done." I'm thinking to myself, how? You may get elected on your own, but you can't tell the Red Bay public who you'll support as premier. You can't tell the Red Bay public whether or not who will support you with the plans that you have for Red Bay. I can say that I have 12 individuals who will support me for the plans I have in Red Bay. I can tell the listening audience that Roy McTaggart will be my Minister of Finance and that Joey Hugh will be my Premier, because I am part of an organized group. Not just an organized group, but one who with a history, one who has been around for 20 years, and who have, as I do my canvassing and I knock on the door, someone will say to me, Roy, you don't have to worry, you have to come here. And say, no, I don't take things for granted. I ask everyone. So I'm PPM, but that's okay. I ask everyone. I learned that lesson a long time ago. Don't take any vote for granted. PPM has a wide base still in Georgetown and beyond. So we not only are a party in name, but we're a party because we have not just a structure, but we have a base. And therefore, I am so proud that when I sit and say to people that here's my Red Bay Manifesto, I have the backing of Ron McTaggart, Joey Hugh, and all of the Deputy Leader Kenneth Bryan, all of the individuals who sit with me around, who will be around that table when we leave here and go to our candidates meeting.
Okay, we're going to take our last commercial break. When we return, what do we say to those voters who say, I am not going to vote? How do you convince them? How do you impress upon them the importance, of voting, exercising their democratic right to vote as well? Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite band-aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. But don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman is proud to continue to serve our island community. During the last Lionistic year, they successfully carried out community projects like the Prostate and Colon Cancer Awareness Campaign, site screenings, spelling bees, swim meets, and their community food pantry. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman looks forward to continuing their service during the 2024-2025 Lionistic year and for many more years to come. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman. Where there's a need, there's a lion, serving the community for over 50 years.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price. And a service to make you smile. Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of this show this morning. This is a paid political segment. Members of the People's Progressive Movement seeking to represent the constituents of Red Bay in our parliament, running in the upcoming April 30th general elections. Mr. Roy Tatum, also Mr. Roy McTaggart, who's seeking to represent the constituents of Georgetown East in our parliament. Gentlemen, the mic is yours. Just one question. The naysayers, those persons who say, I am not going to vote. They're registered, but I'm not going to vote. Words of advice to them.
I'll give this my stab and my view. We'll see. When you canvass and find someone like that, I think it is important to understand why. And that question has to be asked of the registered voter. Why aren't you doing this? Because I do believe that there are underlying reasons why. They obviously are not happy with something, whether it's candidates or whether it is specific issues. Something is causing that person to take that kind of a position. So I think it's important that a candidate who encounters such a person, that they take some time to sit down and just talk to the person, understand why they're feeling that way, and then see if you aren't able through your own discussions to deal with or remove the concerns or the issue, whatever it is that is forcing that kind of a response. Because I do believe, I always look forward to election times when I go into that booth and cast my vote, because I know that I am fulfilling my civic duty, and it is the one thing that I can do every 4 years to help me drive the achieve whatever it is I want to see a government achieve. Who's going to best drive policies that are going to suit my positions and tackle some of the issues that I see and want. So it's a grand opportunity for you to do so. If you don't vote, then you've given up your say. And I think people need to understand and realize that it is so important for them to do so.
You're exactly right. There usually is a reason, and typical reason sometimes out here is that it don't seem to matter if I vote or not. My life don't get no better. And you can take that conversation as as far as you can with them, and you'll either persuade them to vote or not to vote. I was saying to one gentleman, he was expressing to me really how it don't matter who the person is. That I said to him, you can't put me in a bucket. It's my first time. You can at least give me a chance. I do agree. But it is hugely important for people to get involved. And I keep thinking back to the formation of the PPM, back when we had. I remember filling the Buddentown Civic Centre with almost 800 people, whatever the number was. It was really impressive, the number of the people who got involved in those days. And I think that's what's happening again. I think people are seeing a concern with the last 4 years and a regression in the country, in my view, and wanting to get leadership in place again. I am of the firm view that when the country has a concern, has an issue, after Hurricane Ivan, PPM were elected. After the financial crisis, PPM were elected. I've asked many people who would they have preferred to see in government during COVID, and no one has ever told me any of the other current leaders of the other parties, right? But it was the PPM, and when we were there at every press conference, the decisions that were made. So I'm of the view that in terms of bringing the country, rescuing the country again, and moving forward, that I think we will win the majority of seats in the upcoming election, and we will put the country back on a good path. My colleague here, I remember seeing him in Parliament. As you know, I in my former job as head of the Office of the Premier for those 2 terms, I not only worked within government but also worked in the Parliament, supporting the government. And I remember, and it has stayed with me, that a statement that you made, Mr. Roy, that on the floor of the House, that no other government in the history of the Cayman Islands had spent 2 terms without, and I know you remember it, increasing taxation. As a matter of fact, we had reduced some taxes, increasing government debt. In fact, we had reduced the government debt by half, and we paid for projects without borrowing, but from the money you had in hand, and we grew the economy. So over 2 terms, no new taxes, no new debt. And that prepared us. We always expected, I remember the conversation we were having in caucus, we expected something. Having been through what happened in 2005 going to 2009 where we lost because we didn't expect a recession, we expected something to happen. We didn't expect a pandemic, but we were planning and building the country, but planning for the eventuality. And because we had the reserves back in place, right, we rebuilt reserves, when we had to close down the country, the government had the ability to continue. And that is under PPM leadership. So,
okay, one of our
it actually was 3 terms, Roy, too, because you forget it took 2013 to 2017 terms.
There you go.
No increase in taxes.
Yep.
There was no, we had those same policies. They continued through 3 terms for us.
Okay, one of our listeners says, Mr. McTaggart, when there's not a PPM candidate for Cayman Brac West, what do we do? You have an answer for them?
I don't. We've searched diligently for and tried diligently to identify a
if you ask the
candidate
Cayman Brac, I'll tell you what to do.
For Cayman Brac. Miss Julie is running in East, and we are confident.
We do have an independent candidate in the West.
So we'll see where we get to after that, after the election.
Moses Kay and Donald Juliana are supporting Lonny Tibbetts, and that's who I would ask my people in Cayman Brac West to vote for.
Now, would you welcome him into the fold?
I think that would have to be a diligent,
on his part as well, on both
of the
sides,
collective. Absolutely. I mean, I know Lonny quite well.
We have a history of welcoming people. So after we formed government, we have a history of welcoming people. We welcomed you. You weren't a PPM member.
No, I wasn't.
In the early days, but you quickly became one. We welcome you into. So if you once you form government, right, you have to see who else you have that wants to work with you, right? You need as many hands on deck as you can. So it's not up to me. Obviously, I'm not the leader, but I can't see why not. That has been our history.
Okay, we have about 3 minutes for both of you to make some closing comments as well, gentlemen.
You want me to go first? All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, OC. I really enjoyed it. I'm starting to get used to this, man. But when
you're talking to the people in here, you want you to look right into the camera.
You should wear the camera was. Thanks very much. So I urge everyone in Grand Cayman, come out to our manifesto launch on Saturday. Hugely important. Get a manifesto in your hands. See what we intend to do. My people in Red Bay, please come out. And on the election day, support number 3, Roy Tatum for your next MP. And again, those of you in Cayman Brac, Friday night, Kirkconnell's store, be there, please support Donald Juliana O'Connor Connolly. We were expecting a big turnout, and we are looking to get her re-elected for Cayman Brac East. Thank you.
And again, I will continue just where you drop off. Roy T. OC, encouraging Cayman Brac with all my being to come out and support Miss Julie at at Kirkconnell Market. It is anyway. Moses Supermarket at the parking lot there on Friday evening. We've got a number of people, a number of our candidates and supporters here in Cayman that are going over starting tomorrow actually, and continuing on Friday morning, particularly when the vast majority of us will be going across to the Brac for the meeting. So we want to have a huge crowd for her, and I'm encouraging the PPM members over there to let's make sure that we get the crowds out to see and listen to what we have to say. Saturday night is also a huge night for us, and I'm encouraging people throughout Cayman to come and support us in the manifesto launch. I think, for the first time in 2 elections, we actually have candidates now in Bodden Town, 3 candidates in the Bodden Town district, and for several elections now, we've got someone in East End and the North Side. So, and the Bracs, Bodden Town, West, and I think the West Bay constituencies are the only areas where we don't have candidates running. We've got 13 in all. We can easily form a government. Encourage people on election day to vote for the progressive PPM candidates.
Yeah, and as far
as
your manifesto is concerned, people getting it early. Will they be able to comment on it? Will you provide some sort of a platform, electronic platform, for people to comment on your manifesto, or to maybe even share some of the ideas that they have once they have been able to view the manifesto?
I don't have the answer to that question.
Okay.
I just don't know.
Okay.
But what I can say is that it will be available on our website for people to get a copy as well.
And it'll be, I'm sure, there'll be a link on social media. People will make comments on social media. They can email us at info@ppm.ky. So there's no, and of course they can speak to candidates and in person as well, and as we walk through the community still.
Okay, gentlemen, I want to thank you all very much. Look forward to having more of these discussions with you, and wish you all the best on the campaign trail as well. Folks, I want to thank you, those of you who contributed with your questions. We know many of you are listening as well. During this campaign period, we also, with Easter coming up, we also want to remind ourselves that we are brothers and our sisters keepers. There's always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and we should extend a helping hand to them. If we can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Mr. Charles Glidden, Charlo, at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord. And join Charlo, make him welcome, call in, converse with him as well. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
The preceding was a paid political broadcast. For the record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury, and JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And the Cayman Islands National Museum. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture.
Since 1976.
Covering Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, and Brac. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Radio Cayman.